Hello everybody, it's me Keeks back with a brand new video, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the latest Goosebumps 2023 episode 6, Night of the Living Dummy. This is the one we've all been waiting for. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right into it. Alright, so after watching the first 5 episodes, everybody has been waiting for this episode. As we all know, Disney and Hulu, they dropped the first 5 episodes on one day. Now it's weekly episodes are being aired weekly and everything. And this is one we've all been waiting for. We all knew Slappy was showing, he was coming up, and they've been building up to it. Now, did it succeed? How did everything go? Well, let's get right into it. And just a heads up, I will be talking about spoilers. I'll try to keep it minor, but I will be discussing the episode as a whole. So if you don't want any spoilers at all, please click away from the video, or when you watch the episode, come back. So with that said being done, ladies and gentlemen, let's do it. So how does the episode do? Well, the episode kind of starts off where the last episode ended. The kids have found out that their parents accidentally murdered Harold and everything. They were trying to get a case. Well, Mr. Brat shows up and he tells them that he's going to tell them the story. Now, and he has a case with them, which they're all wondering about. Well, Mr. Brat, which, as we all know, as we the audience knows, is actually Harold Biddle, is possessing Mr. Brat. He starts to tell them basically the history of Slappy, sort of. We flash back to 1925 New York City, where we meet Ephraim, not so good magician who's kind of down on his luck. We ends up buying Slappy to pursue a role in ventriloquism, which he is also not good at. Now, of course, Ephraim reads the words that bring Slappy to life, and Slappy makes Ephraim basically a great magician. They have a whole thing going on, but there's sort of deal between these two. Slappy is going to make Ephraim great and everything, but Slappy wants something in return. We don't know what that is until at some point where some grave robbers bring them a coffin that has the name Candu on it. Now, we all know I discussed this in my Slappy Beware review. R.L. Stein has given different origins to Slappy, in the books and everything. And it seems like this series is kind of like combining the origins. So in Slappy Beware, we find out Slappy was made by a sorcerer. The sorcerer's name in Slappy Beware was Ephraim, which is the name of the magician, the stage show magician in this episode. And then Candu was the sorcerer's name in the book. I believe it was I Am Slappy's Evil Twin. I don't. I am Slappy's twin. Maybe might be wrong with the title there, but I think it's I am Slappy's evil twin. I haven't read it yet. I just bought it. But I heard like they revealed one of Slappy's origins that he was made by a sorcerer named Candu, and that was the name of the coffin. So it seemed like they made Ephraim just like a different character in this series, and they're going with Candu as being like Slappy's creator. Now, for some reason, Slappy needs a spell from Candu that's in his pocket. That's in his pocket that he was buried with. When Ephraim goes to read the spell, he sees a vision of a horrible thing happening, and so he decides, "No, I'm not going to do it. You tricked me." And he locks Slappy up in the safe. He buys the house that Harold, his parents, end up living in, and Ephraim is Harold's like great great grandfather on his mother's side, by the way. He puts Slappy in a case, puts him behind a brick wall, covers it up and everything. Says like nobody. I'm gonna make sure nobody ever find you. Slappy's like, oh, someone will. Someone will find me. And of course, we all know that's eventually what happens. Harold moves into town. Now we've all been under the kind of like idea that Harold was bullied, and that turns out to be true. Harold was a kid that was bullied, except it was at his old school. And that's one of the main reasons why they're all moving. His parents want a fresh start. It seems like whatever these kids, how they were bullying him, it wasn't like regular. I don't know if you call regular bullying. Like it seemed to be like really extreme stuff, and it was something that went too far. And Harold had to be taken out of the school, and his parents wanted him that fresh start. So they're contacted by a real estate agent who's been looking for them for 10 years after Ephraim died, and they end up like inheriting his house and everything. So they get the house and everything, they move in. Harold starts school. His dad gives him the camera, tells him to join photo club, and that's where he meets Nora and Sarah, who Henry Harold, not Henry, sorry, got confused there for a second. Harold the develops a crush on Sarah, and things have been going well. And eventually, Harold finds Slappy, and Slappy basically starts manipulating Harold, you know, and using him, against his friends and stuff. So Harold's friends, they end up really not liking Slappy, and as the episode goes along, Harold kind of becomes more estranged from his friends and his parents, and he just becomes obsessed with Slappy. It was very fun watching everything, and I enjoy every minute of it. And then there's a few things that happen. We see more like what happened that night where he died and everything. The kids are going in to get Slappy. Uh, Only Nora at the time when they first go in knows that he's actually alive because she's seen him talk to Harold. But the other kids, they don't really believe her. They kind of just want to prank Harold because there's a whole like part where he's doing an act with Slappy at school, and he says some very mean things and reveals secrets and everything. So the other kids are kind of like don't really believe he's actually alive, but let's go ahead and steal Slappy. That way we can mess with Harold for what he did, and this leads to them actually learning the truth about Slappy, and they end up like Ben, Isaiah's father, pulls Slappy apart, which I thought was a bit, kind of silly because in the books, like, okay, there's a scene with the parents is forgetting the books, but usually Slappy's not really. He usually gets away and he makes sure he can't be destroyed, right? So he makes it hard for them. So there's a scene in the show in this episode where the parents try to burn Slappy. They want to get rid of him. They think he's going to lead to Harold being bullied again. So they try to burn him, but he won't catch fire at all. Okay, so Slappy can't be burned, but he can be torn apart. He can be pulled apart in pieces. It's like, okay, okay. I understand they kind of had to like do something where they had to hide his pieces, which I think is what they're going for here. But yeah, it was just kind of silly that whole thing. But anyways, the episode was really good. I had a really fun time watching it. Now, what I liked is like the whole backstory and the flashbacks and everything. I thought that was very fun. Couple of things I didn't like. Um, One, Slappy doesn't walk. Now, the theory going around right now is maybe like this Slappy, whatever the spell he wants from Can is gonna make him like fully be able to like move and stuff. Or maybe we just didn't see him move and stuff, like and everything. But it is what it is. Hopefully we see him start moving around in the next couple episodes because he is gonna be coming back and everything. But yeah, another thing that was kind of silly. If I can, I'm trying to remember it. I had this whole video playing now. Now this one thing escaped my mind. I can't remember what it was. I had something to do with Slappy, but I don't. Sorry guys, I can't remember what this point was gonna be. But one thing I did like Slappy's voice. He is voiced by Chris Gear. Chris Gear, I think his name is. Apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong. If you ever seen Detective Pikachu, he played the son of that high conglomerate businessman, the guy in the wheelchair. He was the one that the Ditto was impersonating and everything, right? Um, so he's worked with Rob Letterman before. It's probably how he got this role. He's an English actor, so Slappy has a very like creepy, like old style Englishman voice, and I've enjoyed it very much. Thought it was very creepy. Um, it's a hit or miss with some people I've noticed, but seems overall people have been enjoying it. Overall, I'm gonna give this episode 9 out of 10. There's some things they could have worked on. Oh, I don't remember my second point was gonna be about like one thing I didn't like. So there's a twist at the end episode, sort of a twist, where Mr. Bat reveals that he's actually Harold Biddle, right? And that's where the episode ends, which was kind of like anticlimactic because as the audience, we already knew that. The kids didn't know that in the show, but we knew that. So I thought they could have done like a better twist. I thought, it would been better if the kids had found out a different way that Mr. Brat was possessed. Um, but I was kind of hoping that like it was Slappy was going to be revealed. Like he got all the pieces, and he put him back together and brought him back to life. And uh, they were going to reveal Slappy. I thought maybe that's why he had the case and everything, but no, he was just like, "Oh, I'm not Mr. Brad, I'm Harold Biddle," and that's where it ended. But so yeah, this episode I'm gonna give a 9 out of 10. Very fun watch. Enjoyed it very much. Can't wait to see what these last 4 episodes are gonna be. Very excited. Did you guys enjoy this episode? Let me know down in the comments below, and I will see you all in the next one.